Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is one of the premier guys who are running an organization known as the Gym Gang. He's more commonly known to everyone out there as Brolic. So I want to welcome him to the show. Where are you driving to?
Bang bang.
Where are you driving to?
Bang bang. Man, I'm going up to Albany right now. I'm taking a little break from the city for a couple hours.
Yeah, you're a city guy, huh? You grew up in Manhattan?
I grew up in Brooklyn, the motherland.
That's still the city, yeah. That's what people don't know.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, that's all, we call that the city here from New York.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, facts.
Now, you know, a lot of people know who you are. A lot of people might not know who you are. And you guys are involved in something called the Gym Gang. And now, you're going to tell us the whole story, but you came from a troubled youth where you got in a lot of trouble, and you kind of turned your life around. You're a corrections officer now. Give us the whole idea behind Gym Gang. What is the meaning behind it, and what is it trying to accomplish?
Well, a lot of us, from Gym Gang have been, in the system, out the system, come from the inner streets. Anyone that grew up in New York know how New York is situated. And working out has always been like something that's been, taught to us on an alpha male level, even with being locked up or just being a street guy.
Yeah.
So, being that you got so much, like, with New York being such a divided now with gangs, we came up with Gym Gang. Well, originally I didn't come up with it. Jeff Murray came up with it when he came home from being locked up. And he teamed up with Mark Schwartz, who's more like a personal trainer, structured individual. Mm-hmm. And they came together with an idea saying, well, look, if you're going to be in a gang in the gym, like do the same thing where you have a brotherhood, you have loyalty, a structure, and a system. And working out just is the core of it. So that's basically what it is. It's not something that has a hidden agenda. It's all about the brotherhood and working out. Just coming together as young men looking for guidance.
Right.
And using that as a positive outlet.
Now you seem to be the front man of this Gym Gang, and you seem to be really out there on social media promoting it and everything like that. Are there actual members? Do you guys have a certain amount of guys in the Gym Gang?
Yo, you know what, Dave? We all over. Originally, when I met the brothers, I met Jeff, right? Jeff Murray. He does a lot of the filming and editing, a lot of the creative ideas. Mark Schwartz is really like the poster boy of Gym Gang. Okay. Everybody know Mark. You know what I mean? That's Optimus Prime. Everybody know him. Right. And they started off at Star Fitness in the Bronx. Most of them are from the Bronx, and sure. Then you got Dave, you got Banner, Ray Banner, and everybody know Ray because he's the big man. He's the big man on campus, Okay. And then you got D Hodge. Hodge is like he the big brother of the gang, but he also the swag. Like how we have a urban swag, like you could compare it to hip hop artists who dress with the Dapper Dan, come out with the latest, the Louis and the Gucci. That's kind of hard, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? With the Rick Ross beard, like the big OG. Yeah, that's so and now me, when I came to the situation, I came with that little DMX attitude, like I'm gonna get at him, Like I felt like fitness was quiet, a lot of bodybuilders and fitness individuals, they're very snobby. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And I felt like, we just got to get that energy going. So when I saw C.T. Fletcher and I seen he had that pit bull mentality, I said, I got to get at him. Not even on some disrespect, but just up on the utmost respect, like from a younger, version of him, looking at a senior individual doing it. I wanted to just shoot at him and see what he gonna do, just to feel the energy. Right. And that's how this situation got popular.
So what did you guys do with C.T. Fletcher? You called him out?
Yeah, you know what it is? Because you got like CT Fletcher being the big dog, and you know, to call him out is kind of like you got to be out your mind. You know, you got to be like you got to be out your mind because CT, like you know, this the OG, this the Godfather right here. This like you know, the reason why we do what we do. You know, but I felt you know, and we did it spontaneously. I felt at a certain point we was out in Jersey.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what? I said, yo, Red, put the camera on. Let me shoot at Pops. Let me get at Pops. Let me get his attention. You know what I mean? And I got his attention. And I appreciate him for that because him responding back really helped the situation, you know? Him giving me any type of attention, you know? And we started a back and forth, you know, like it became like the WWE. Here I go talking crap. He talking crap back. We got this big date coming up, March 28th in LA. You know what I mean? They saying, y'all really gonna go to LA? And we like, hell yeah, we gonna go to LA. I mean, we on it like that, you know what I mean? And we went out to LA, to Iron Addicts, you know what I mean? And CT, you know, CT home, and we banged weights with them, and it was a beautiful experience. One of the things I'm a treasure in my life, you know?
So you guys all worked out together. It became a really positive experience.
Yeah, it was and it was like it was so much people there, so much energy. It was like the Super Bowl of fitness. You know, it was Super Bowl of fitness.
Why do you think, Brolic? Why do you think that so many people can relate to this whole gym gang? You know, I guess thing that you've created, CT Fletcher's thing he's created. Why do people gravitate towards that?
Yo, Dave, it's attitude. You know that. I remember when you competed, you had attitude, remember?
Yeah.
I mean, I came up competing NPC too, and I could recall when you were competing, you always Dave Palumbo. You always had your own lane. Mm-hmm. And I think when you're an individual, people are gonna gravitate to the individual who don't give a shit and gonna do whatever he want, make it his way, and not follow somebody else's blueprint. So for all the individuals out there that like may have complaints or issues with the way how things are, they could respect Gym Gang for that type of energy. We gonna do it our way.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're not here to follow nobody. You know what I mean? And we gonna give respect, but at the same time, we fearless. If we feel we gotta push you out the way, so be it. You're gonna get pushed. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get pushed. You're gonna get hands on you. And not being in a violent way, but we not here to serve no masters. We bring in our own energy. Either you're going to connect with us or we're going to bump heads. Yeah. And it's all, you know, it's just the attitude.
You're right. But, you know, I almost wish back in the day when I was competing and I was training hardcore that I actually had an internet media outlet to be able to promote what I was doing. Because no one knew what I was doing unless you were in the gyms with us. Nowadays, you guys can project it all over the world, you know, pretty much. Do you think that you guys have kind of like latched onto that energy that Rich Piana started with 5% nutrition? Are you kind of that culture? Are you attracting those type of people to you?
Absolutely. Like, I'm a big Rich Piana, and I say this with all respect to Rich. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Rich. You know what I mean? I'm a fan because I kind of like stumbled onto Rich just going through the YouTube and looking up, you know, workout plans for different body parts, and all of a sudden I stumbled on this dude Rich Piana before he was 5%, and I just looked at his whole attitude and his being an individual, and I gravitated to that. You know what I mean? Because, without him being aware, he kind of mentored to me. You know what I mean? Because I looked at him and I saw his energy and I saw his swag, and you know I would say he was an individual, and you know we lost a good man, and nobody could do it like Rich. Rich did it, yo. Everybody might talk shit now because you know how people talk shit. Rich did it. Rich had all the swag. Everybody right now in the game took something from Rich. Everybody. You know what I mean? Rich had it. He had the game on smash. And you know what it is? I'm not even gonna get into that color thing. He was a white boy with more swag than brothers. You know what I mean? He had it, bro. Like, yo, Rich was that dude. And it's so crazy. When we went out to Ohio, we actually didn't get to meet Rich, but we heard that he wanted to meet us. So one of our goals was to definitely, you know, connect with him. And, you know, unfortunately, you know,
he wound up dying, way too early. Way too early.
His life ended shortly, and we never got that up.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. You had you told me before the interview you had a troubled childhood. You were involved in getting in trouble and stuff like that, and then you cleaned up your act. Obviously you're a corrections officer for 14 years now. How was your life growing up? What kind of trouble were you in? What were you guys doing that you shouldn't have been doing? I think we lost him here. I told him not to drive. I said, don't drive around when you're doing the interview. But hey, that's their attitude. I can't pick that. Let's see if we can get him back. Maybe we'll.
I'm gonna pull over.
All right, pull over. Yeah, pull over a little bit because we're losing you.
Yeah.
I want to know where you came from. I wanted to know what roots you had. Your roots. How did you come up? What were you doing that you shouldn't have been doing?
Well, I was in trouble at the age of 11. I started young, started very young. I caught a robbery case at 11 for armed robbery. And, I was a truant kid, cut school a lot. You know what I mean? One particular time while I was going to court for an armed robbery case, I was assaulted because I had a teacher with a chair. So all those things led to me at the age of 13 to be sent away for 3 years.
Wow. Did that better your life or make it worse?
You know what I would say? Being in a juvenile facility is like a shock program for any, for older individuals. They can relate to that because I went to Spofford in the Bronx. I went to different various locations, and I ended up in Catskill Mountains. And upstate, what they did up there was weights. It was powerlifting was big, powerlifting and basketball. Right. So being that I was around weight training like that, it was used to uplift you. It wasn't used to be aggressive, to take advantage of anyone. Right. It was more used in a positive manner. So, and the COs up there, they were big. They were big. They were lifting 500-600 pounds. And once you were involved with weight training, they had a different respect for you. You know what I mean? And you had better privileges. So you wanted to kind of get on that wave, Right. You know what I mean? So, and then overall, being that I used to get into a lot of altercation fights a lot. They had programs like the boxing program, sure, the weight training program, which I was forced and got put into them by the guards because they were like, yo, you ain't gonna keep doing bullshit. So they made me do these programs. And then I kind of after a while it became, because people don't understand, when I did my 3-year bid, I didn't have family doing it with me. I did it by myself. Even though I was in Catskill Mountain, nobody came to visit me. And, you get phone calls every sure Saturday. There was no one to call because, that's just the situation I put myself in. So I was alone in that situation, and I had to handle it. I had to cope with being, a young individual doing time by myself.
Sure, and that's got to be tough. You grow up real fast when that happens, and you start, thinking around, sitting around, thinking about what you did. What made you decide to become a corrections officer?
I stumbled on that by accident because, I sold drugs from the age of, let's say, 16 all the way to 27, 28, because I got on the job at 29. I'm currently 42 on a 43. Right. And, when you're selling drugs, you all have this dream. You want to be the next Tony Montana, the next, king of New York, because we do this. We get it in our heads that if we do this one thing and do it right, we're going to make all this money. And right, if it wasn't selling drugs, it was trying to be in the next Jay-Z or Biggie Smalls. That was my concept and reality at the time, right, Right. So between writing rhymes and selling drugs, that was my goals. And unfortunately, in the drug game, you take a lot of losses because I lost a lot of friends and situations were hard to digest as a young man. Right. Seeing people get murdered, killed, going to funerals, seeing people get separated from their families. So that took its toll on me also because it was just like a bad decision after a bad decision. Right. So when you start looking for jobs, you start just looking for jobs. You at rock bottom. I took exams because people were telling me, yo, take the MTA exam, take the correction exam, take the PD exam. I mean, you don't know what the outcome is going to be, but you're like, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. Why not, Right. And I took the correction exam in 2002. And they called me in 2004, actually, when I was down on my luck. At this time, I was actually married, you know what I mean? And I felt like my life was going nowhere. I felt like a failure. So my wife at the time, she pushed me, even though I didn't feel I didn't have it in me. She pushed me like, yo, you need to keep trying, do something positive, try something positive, or don't keep trying the same thing, you get the same results. But at the same time, I was about to go out to Virginia to get back into the life that I was comfortable doing, you know?
Right.
And right before that, one of my boys had came home from doing a fad bid, and he was so down and out. He used to talk to me every night about all the money he had, because he did have a lot of money. He had boats, cars, and he was really like down and out. And he committed suicide, you know?
Ugh, terrible.
And I remember helping to pay for his funeral and thinking to myself, I don't want to end up like that. You know what I mean? Because you saw like the game, which is called, you know, the hustle game. The game is you can see your friends on top doing real good. A couple years later, they doing real bad. You know what I mean? And it's devastating to see that. That he came home from being somewhat wealthy to living with his mom, broken down with no money, and he committed suicide by stabbing himself in the chest.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's a pretty brutal suicide too. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, he drank a bottle of peroxide and stabbed himself in the heart.
Holy mackerel.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and
So
he did that, and they thought it was, and they had to investigate it because they didn't even believe he did that, but he did that. And I remember he was telling me he just can't cope with being broke after having so much, you know?
Right. No, I can understand that.
And that kind of shook me a little. So I was like, you know what? There were so many lessons around me. Like one of my boys, I was with him in the park. He got shot in the face. He ended up legally blind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, people could talk about the street life and they could glorify the street life, but we all know it's all good when you're on the winning side. But when you're on the losing side, it hurts, bro.
Sure.
It hurts. You know what I mean? It hurts. And you know, this ain't the movies. This shit is for real, you know?
Yeah, no.
So
what?
I had a lot of reasons to try to make something out of myself. I had to. Instead of being a statistics or another victim, I had to do something.
Sure.
You know? I had to do something, you know?
So
and
what
corrections called me and I came on, you know?
What advice do you give to young guys who might be listening to this, who feel that hopelessness, they feel like they may want to commit suicide, they feel like they're not going to amount to anything? Like, how do you motivate someone to want to live, to want to like change their life? I mean, what advice can you give to these people out there?
I mean, you can't really change nobody's mind, but that's what I would say. Give yourself a chance. You know what I mean? Give yourself a chance. Because, you know, yo, Dave, you're looking at someone, like when I go around my mom, she smiled when she see me. She tell me how she proud of me for making different changes. When she used to see me and shake her head, like, man, you know what I mean?
Right.
My old neighborhood where I grew up, when I come around, I'm not the problematic kid no more.
Right.
I'm like, she brags. She tells the neighbors, yo, look at my son. He on the job. Look what he driving.
Right.
Yo, she does that. Well, I'll be like, yo, Ma, chill, Ma, chill. She be like, nah, they had you, they counted you out. You know what I mean?
Right.
She like to brag. You would think I'm a celebrity coming to the old neighborhood. She still live in the old neighborhood. You know what I mean? She does it so much. I'd be like, yo, Ma, stop rubbing it in. Stop rubbing it in.
Well, you made good,
You know?
and now
She even brag about the car. Yeah, she even brag about the car I drive. She's so happy that I made these conscious decisions to change my life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because I gave myself a chance. You know? I decided to love myself. You know what I mean?
Do you attribute some of this success with changing your life with the gym? Did the gym help motivate you? Did it help discipline you? Did it help give you another outlet for some of this maybe aggressive action?
Yeah, I wouldn't say just the gym. I think training for shows. Because when I started training for NPC shows, and that's why I love bodybuilding in that aspect, you know, as a bodybuilder, former bodybuilder yourself, you know it's actually a battle with yourself.
Sure.
You know what I mean? When you're training for a show and you're prepping and you're dieting, it's the ultimate fight with yourself. It's saying that, you know what, I'm going to be better. And and my flaws, I'm gonna make them my strengths. Because you know, you're working on developing a muscle, you're working on looking a certain way, you have an idea in your head, and you're totally committed to it. You know what I mean? And because of that attitude, you might go out, you know what, I don't want to drink, because I got a show coming up. I don't want to smoke, because I got something better to do. You start to get a feeling of self-worth, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's very positive. Now, what if people want to become, you know, a part of your gym gang? How do they contact you? How do they do it? How do you get membership in the gym gang?
Well, we actually have something called Hell Week. That's like almost like a gang initiation. You got to go through Hell Week, and you got to survive. You got to survive hell.
What's
And
Hell
you know
Week?
that's
Tell us
just
what
really like,
happens.
well, you know, in any agency like Navy SEALs, um, any kind of like even the football, like with the gridiron, they got like a Hell Week.
Right.
It's all it is to test your character. You know what I mean? It's just a test of character. You know
Right.
what Dave is like, for instance, right? You look at something outside looking in, oh, I like this movement. I want to get down. But you may have all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Right.
may look at it like, oh, it's Gym Gang. It's aggressive. You might see us on YouTube talking smack. Yeah, I like this. I like this. And you might get the wrong idea.
Sure.
So Hell Week is just to kind of see where your heart is at. Because if you could go through Hell Week, get broken down, to get rebuilt, and put your heart in it, it kind of say, well, you know what? You're going to take it more serious than just someone that outside looking in like, yeah, Gym Gang, I like this. Fuck it, they don't care. We'll just do whatever we want. It ain't about that.
Right.
Because when you rep Gym Gang, I got it tattooed on my skin. It's an attitude. You represent something positive.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to stand for something positive. Like, I won't be Gym Gang and out here doing all type of nonsense, you know?
Right.
And I'm not going to have any other member of Gym Gang carrying on conducting like that too, and not actually like, yo, what you doing?
Right.
This ain't about you. It's about us. This ain't you. It's
a-
about
it's-
us and what
right.
we,
It's a
what we
team.
represent. You
It's
know?
a unity. Now,
Yeah.
how many people fail and how many people succeed in getting into Gym Gang, getting through Hell Week?
You know what? Like I was talking to Red. Jeff Murray, AKA is Red. We all got AKs, you know, it's cool, you know?
Right.
And like I told him before, we have people that did Hell Week, and I really designed Hell Week. And other people like Mark Swartz, he got dog crap. We all have our different lanes.
Yeah.
But in Hell Week, I guess because we don't want to make it where we detour anyone, we don't allow you to fail. We'll stick it through
Gotcha.
with you.
Okay, I got you.
We'll go off of merit. If you're willing to stand and stand in the fire, we'll stand with you. And like brothers, we won't leave you behind.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's great to know. And how do they contact you to get involved with this?
Well, I mean, you know, it's like this. You right now with social media, because we're moving around a lot. You got the Corp page, Gym Gang Corp. You could always DM the Corp page, and someone always gonna respond back to you. You
Okay.
know?
And that's the
That's me.
is that
I
the
might look
Instagram?
Yeah, that's Gym Gang Corp underscore.
Gotcha.
Corp.
We got it up on the screen here so people could follow you. And
Yeah.
you guys are always putting some inspirational stuff up, controversial stuff on there. If anyone wants to sign up, you can follow the page. You guys can contact them. And I think you're doing great stuff. You're motivating a lot of people. You're giving some people maybe who were deciding to go the wrong direction. Maybe you'll change the direction of their life. And I think it's all good for the sport. It's great for the community. And I want to just congratulate you guys on what you're doing out there.
I appreciate your Dave.
Yeah.
Also, too, you know, I'm saying this now. I like, you know, when you did that. I don't know if it was a publication, but when you did the Behind the Wall, when you did that magazine about dudes locked up and working out, I thought it was great.
Prison bodies, yeah.
You know, believe it or not, yeah, a lot of things people do. Nothing is new. There's things that you have done, and I touched on it with my team. I'm like, yo, we need to do something like that. So, I mean, if you could give us your input, get involved with us, that'd be actually great. You know what I mean? To have your input, or, you know, your leadership with that. Because we want to get back into that.
I think it was important. You know, what I found was that when I was in prison for my 5 months federal stint, guys training in prison is like, I mean, it's like a religion, you know. And a lot of people, you know, were, you know, asking me questions about nutrition and training. And I'm like looking at some of these physiques of these guys, and I'm like amazed at how great these guys look because they're putting so much effort into it. They're really, you know, channeling their energy into the training. And I said, someone's got to feature. These guys are the unsung heroes. And it's interesting, but one of the guys I actually featured over the course of maybe four years that I ran that column in muscular development was Juan Morel. He was doing a small stint. And I featured him when he got out. He contacted me. I started working with him, and look where he is. He just won the New York Pro this year. So, I mean, he made good, and I think that's where it's all at. You know, people, when they feel good and validated, it motivates them to keep doing what they're doing. And I think that's what I try to do with the column. Obviously, now magazines are not as important. The problem is in prison, there's really no internet, or it's not as big. So they all read the magazines in there, and unfortunately, there's really no more magazines. So it's hard to figure out where to target that type of positive energy. But you guys probably have a good pulse on that. I'm sure as the internet becomes more and more popular, that eventually, I know the prisoners do have some access to the internet, but it might be limited. I don't know what websites they can look at and what they can't.
They do. You know, we're gonna look into it more because you know it's kind of cool that I'm talking to you about it because definitely would like to have your involvement in it, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'd love to help you guys out, without a doubt. We'll talk after the show's over, but once again, keep up the great work and keep the motivation coming, and build that Instagram page, and we'll get updates from you as you know the time progresses.
Also, before you go, we're doing the Avengers. That's actually all for the movie, the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing the Gym Gang, the Avengers. We got Big Drew from 5%. He's on board.
Okay.
We got Reggie from Muscle Sports. He's on board.
Okay.
You know, we got Mark Swartz, myself included, Hodge, Banner. Also, we're actually opening up the door to other individuals because what we want to do right now, we want to kind of stop the separation. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? We got Hulk from Iron Addicts, just to kind of like make it more like a community instead of, you know, I'm being competitive to you. And
Sure.
give the fans something more meaningful.
Absolutely.
You know?
I love when you guys have the back and forth, and I like when you guys collaborate. I think it gives more interest to the people. People look, everyone loves to belong to something, you know, and you guys are giving people that ability to become something. Because, you know, a lot of times guys are not going to be professional bodybuilders. They're not going to win the nationals. They don't have that drive. They don't have the genetics. They don't care about it, but they want to belong to something. And I think you guys are providing a venue for them to do that. And that's what makes what you're doing so great.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I'm going to stay in tune with you. I like your work. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
You could always reach out to me. You know what I mean?
Sounds good. His name is Brolic. Gym Gang is the name of the organization that they are working on. If you guys want to get involved with it, contact them via Instagram. For now, though, we're out of time. I'm Dave Palumbo with another edition of Live With. We'll see you next time.
Bang, bang.